How much money do you need to trade with to make a living in trading?
Yeah, good question. I would say unless you're starting with $5,000, don't bother. There's no point. If you think about trading the DAX on your average spread betting platform, a pound trade is £300 a margin. If you can't move your positions and take a loss, then there's nothing down for you. If you start with less than £5,000, I'm thinking this way: why do most businesses fail? Because they're undercapitalised. Would you start a flower shop with £5,000? Would you start any business with £5,000? No. So why would you start your trading career and life with £5,000? It's a small amount of money in the grand scheme of things. So for me, and again, there are all the statistics out there. People can Google them. I'm not in control of them. I know if you put £25,000 to £50,000 in the account, you can make a living. All the guys I deal with on a day-to-day basis and mentor and speak to, they have that amount of money and they go on to make money.
So when we talk about making a living, so say you put £25,000 into your account to trade with, what kind of living do you get back? Are we talking a monthly amount? Are we talking just big wins every now and then? What?
It depends on your trading strategy. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I like to tell people to put $25,000 in. Don't think about 5 or 10% is going to be your profit or this, that, and the other. Think of an amount that you want to take home. I don't even know what's the average kind of, city wage, 35, 40 grand, £2,000-3,000 a month, say. Then, think about it that way. You've got to make £500 a day to factor in your losses. And then that, makes the kind of final amount. I mean, I can only work in money-wise because that's how I live. I understand if I want to go out for a meal, it costs that much. If I want to go and buy a car, it's that much. You can just get a lot of kind of traders that just play at trading. Again, the older generation, they think that making 10% a year is good. Well, you want to make 10% a year, buy a flat in London or investment property. I'm talking about making 5, 10, 15, 20% a day. And yeah, sure, you're going to have losses, but if you want to really go for it, go for it. Trading is not something you play at for me. I've been hit hard. I've sacrificed, security, girlfriends, friends, lots of things to be where I am. And yeah, I make the money, but that's come at a cost. If you want to just play at trading or play at investing, go and do that. Go and give somebody, an amount of money to manage your funds. If you want to be invested in trading, invest with a good size account, invest in your learning and go for it. That's my message. So
with this 25 grand, do you think it's realistic that you should be making £500 a day? Is that what you think?
Yeah, easily, yeah. Easily. That is achievable, but
you've got to put the work in.
You've got to put the work in, and it's none of these things are given to you. Really, for me, when you get 25 grand in your account, it's being able to utilise the size, and that's what I said to you before. It's difficult getting your head around taking swings, putting maybe 40, 50, £100 a point, and then seeing that swing in your P&L. That's what people don't like, but it can be there for a second, it can be there for 10 minutes. It's how you deal with it, that's it.
So the theme seems to be, from other people that we've interviewed, is it has to be as well money that you're not scared of losing.
It works in two ways, okay? Again, going back to this thing where you Google it, only trade or invest in money you can afford to lose. Well, if you go in that mindset, you've already lost it. Now, you have to be a bit more pragmatic. If you're going to go into the world and say, right, I'm going to put £500 in a trading account and I'm going to make £1 million, well, you're not going to. Every charlatan, every faker out there, I turned $10,000 into 10 million. Yeah, of course you did. Well, why are you selling courses on the internet if you're so good? You've been managing Goldman Sachs, so it's just nonsense. At the end of the day, you've got to be realistic with all these things. It takes money to make money, and if you think you're going to come into the markets for a small account, build it up, and this kind of stuff, you're literally delusional, I would say.
Okay, so I deviated then. I went off on one. I was just intrigued what I could do with £25,000. Do you believe in diversification?
Well, diversification, again, is going back to investing. When I was, investing for high net worth individuals, it was X amount of stocks, bonds, currency. When you're trading, you're all out. You're in something for a reason. So it doesn't really apply to intraday trading.
Risk a little and make a lot. They call it asymmetric risk reward, but is it realistic?
No. If you're involved in trading, there's massive amounts of risk. This idea that, we teach people and you Google risk, it's 1 or 2% of your capital per stop. Yeah, you might last in trading for a long time, but you'll never make any money.